の電車に乗るたび思い出すことがあった窓の外から見えてるのはそれぞれの物語乾く喉の奥強がりを飼いならしたつなぐ手が増えるその度に強くなれる気がしたんだ傷つけてしまう日も
悲しさこみ上げる日も
言葉と音にかけてく
忘れないように笑って走ってく日も泣きながら帰る日もこの街はいつもここに刻み込んでいく
誰かが笑ったような気がした泣いたような気がした
はるか昔の記憶にはみが落ちていく街と共に
Hello, welcome back to Honkai Impact. We are going to be doing our part 2 run, sort of, again. I know it takes quite a long time, so we're going to try to go through this real quick. But before we get really into it, let's there is something that I wanted to check out. Okay, Ai-chan. Lore, the portal says some permanently available activities. Okay, if you say so. Okay, but we're going to check out something that I messed up the last time I did this. I don't know if our audio is loud enough. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Go all the way. We're gonna start in chapter 5, not this chapter 5, but this one. And change our name here and see if we can change our name in the main game again.
你知道吗？这个世界比你我想象之中还要广阔许多许多。
Far more expensive than what you and I imagined it to
只
be.
不过是因为缺乏手段驶向深空的尽头，
I should say, I watched a
才会让被
video
淹于井底的智慧生命
on
误以
Billy
为自
Billy
己抬头
before
仰
this
望的便是整个天空。
about like Star Rail and Honkai Impact and like how they both explore like imaginary space and stuff. Same channel where I got my information for the dictionary of the Khazars and stuff when I made that thread on some time ago. And so I was like, I wonder if they made any new content. And they did, in response to like the Star Rail stuff that is coming up. And let me try to remember exactly like what it was dealing with. So the idea is that Star Rail's exploration of imaginary space is like wide and vast and horizontal because it explores different worlds in real space across the imaginary tree, right? For all intents and purposes, all the worlds in Star Rail take place like in the proper world, or like they also translate as the intrinsic world. While in Honkai 3, it's confined to just the one world, but we get to see different dimensions of it, different parallels of it. Like, while Honkai Star Rail goes like wide, I'm like using my hands here, even though my VTuber model is just my PNG and not the animated one this time. But so our Star Rail goes wide and is all about like exploring vastness, while Honkai 3 is about exploring like a depth of just one slice, one segment. So there's like the horizontal approach, Star Rail, Honkai Impact, the vertical approach. And like I think it's interesting that the lore works out that way because the way that they are dealing with the characters is also the same. Because like the Honkai 3 cast is taking its time to expand. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, people have been talking about in HSR, like over the next couple updates, it's back-to-back like characters that people have been looking forward to. And so it's like, well, wow, free-to-play players are really getting screwed over here. I mean, to be quite honest, it's not really that much better for us at our side because, you know, every character is an S rank here too, but it's just one per update, right? There it's like 2 per update. So it's a bit rough. But anyway, yeah, like at least as part 2 is going so far, besides like the first couple patches where it was like focused on part 2 characters, right now we are going all in on like new battle suits for the characters that we already had, you know? And I wonder if we're just going to continue that format of like mostly just doing like new versions of old characters with a couple new ones here and there. Honestly, like I'm cool with that.
围绕着名为太阳的单一恒星，各个天体发展出了不同的文明。
There was also a theory that I saw on the Bilibili that and like I think a lot of people have been able to identify like the Stellaron is like the manifestation of Honkai, but the question is like why does the Stellaron exist? And the Stellaron has like a couple functions. It's like if it's supposed to be the manifestation of Honkai, you notice that what it does is it like cuts off the Star Rail, you know, and it isolates planets and stuff. So the theory went in the comment that I saw, the theory went that the creation of the Star Rail and connecting worlds together has created like a strain on the imaginary tree, because a lot of these worlds that otherwise would have just like failed and collapsed into the Sea of Quanta are now surviving past like what they're supposed to because they're connected to the rest of the universe, right? And as like the corrective measure, that's why the Stellaron are appearing. I was like, that kind of makes sense to me. It's like the eons and the Star Rail are not like natural to the system of the tree, you know?
而在以人之力注定无法跨越的星间绝壁之外，那些概念的化身之名早已响彻怀。凡人赞颂他的名，亲吻。当伟大的存在终于朝太阳的子民投下跨越，你会给这可怎么样？既帅气又深沉， 能让人一下子对我这个神秘什么谜语人？
I think
哎呀，你可真是不留情面。不过
I
你
think
的这
Vita
一点
here
我也
is
很喜欢。
talking to Sparkle.
好好好，别催了。要知道，想要在一个对我重点防备的系统里，你说我自作自受？好啦，再耐心点。这场寻梦之旅的主人
Chimonja. So we're just here in chapter 5 for a minute, to get to the bridge, and then we will exit and come back out and start back from chapter 1.
所以，有人，我们进入系统后就来到了这里。
不过在那之前还有点小问题要解决。我们应该是6个人一起进入的，但此处只有我们3个。简单来说，
在一个虚拟系统里也能走散。
我刚刚和幽兰戴尔一起到处打听了一下，发现我们俩身处的城市叫瑞木，和你们的不同。而幸好两边看起来还算和平。
这真是不幸中的万。
我还想问呢，哎呀，且不提我们在
Actually, I'm
刚
going
入
to
的
read
时候
this a little
被
bit
丢到了不
quickly.
同的2个地方。
So for anyone who's just tuning in right now,
以为把我们困在这
we're
里，
gonna do
你就
story
可以为
review.
所欲为了吗？
And right now, it's like maybe a little bit confusing to people who aren't paying attention, but story that's starting in the middle of like what happened, but they're gonna go back in time and like not like go back in time, but like so the story is starting like in the middle of like what the story is going on, but after this scene, they're gonna go back and explain how they got here in the first place.
你们对我的误会未免也太
You
深
would
了
call
吧
that in media
我
res.
在月球基地可是过着备受监视、没有自由的日子，想做点坏。我和17号确认，看起
Like
来
in the
在
middle.
下大搞破坏，还召唤出了那种巨
等等，什么？
说起来，怎么又来？
他，出了一。
放心吧，
可能这就是计划赶不上变化吧
I。hear her say
放
hooray.
心吧。眼下这状况和我们出发前计划的方案查重率0%，真是可喜可贺。
That's a long sentence that she said.
这可真
Okay, back to Hyperion. 3 hours ago.
嗨，醒了？怎么样，还认得出我吗？啊？那你还记得都发生了什么吗？需要，真是个喜欢听故事的好孩子呢。
You're truly a story lover, aren't you?
作为名为寻梦者的电子生命，你所在的终端位于一片荒凉的火星。出于某种高位意志的指示，那时的你没有办法保存每一次轮回的记忆，在影灾里孤身奋战，处处碰壁。唉，真令人难过。他们就喜欢高高在上，指使代理人做这。不过嘛，幸好你遇到了我，维塔。做你的专属系统操控员，你每次从轮回中醒来，都由我帮你恢复记忆。我们2个配合默契，坦诚相待。
Should I try to do a full
是彼
reading?
此最好的伙
I
伴。
mean, it's 20-something hours of content. I'm gonna kill my throat. And also, I have a dude's voice, so it's not really helpful to anybody. But would that be interesting to watch? I don't know.
你这是什么表情？
Like, turn off the voice
别
acting
担
and
心，
just read it out
你
in
很
English.
快就能想起这些事实。说到哪里了？对，我们第3一天来到火，
这句话是不
有吗？有吗？哈，你一定也在困惑，为什么他们俩要把你的终端千里迢迢从火星带到月球基地，害得我也只好跟你一起搬家吧。当然是因为地球人认为影灾与中烟之律者提安娜陷入沉睡有关啦。
所以，影在失控与他陷入沉睡存在联系吗？
Don't strain yourself. Well, maybe it'll be worth the try. I don't have any cough drops though, or like 1, so.
哎呀，我只是一个任劳任怨的操控员，怎么会知道这种事呢？不过别灰心，至少对你来说，解决影灾有助于你吸收，就像不久前你们所做到的一样。在那次轮回里，
你的恐惧产生影，而影吞噬人。为解决这无尽连锁的灾难，一位叫白吉的人试图用星之环汇聚影子，将其囚禁。果然，在他尚未察觉时，影中意志就此诞育，星之环也不堪重负，列为7块。白吉将它们分给6位有天资的人，组成御影7术。7术将影中诅咒关在狼丘后，或陷入沉
I'm
睡，
really
或
reading
溺
this
于
like
深故。
information I never seen before. This is like the 3rd time I'm going through this.
直至狼丘的大门再次为了让影不从狼丘外溢，你们唤醒术，想重演100年前的伟业。可惜影中他以你的梦境作为推演的沙盘，终于发现影中意志所在。瞧，无论是地球还是火星，你对大家都意义非凡呢。唉，本来只需要献祭松雀就能万事大吉，可结果还不是徒劳一场。那个贪生怕死的小骗子松雀，只好在害怕和牺牲之间选择了
不，那不是徒劳。无论是树情愿放弃筹谋100年的心血，也不会向一个无辜之人下手。
就知道你心软又固执，不过别那么认真嘛，这可是一个皆大欢喜的故事哦。你现在不仅能保留之前轮回的记忆，还在这艘搭载你终端的飞船上结识地球伙伴。
丽塔，既然上一次轮，不，是因为希娜迪亚，对吗？虽然克拉丽他们都不记得希娜的存在，但上……
唉，真是的，我明明花了好大的功夫切断你和他的联系，让你不再执着于希娜，摆脱他强加给你的目标，你怎么还……
不止这些，还有你为了提高解决隐灾效率，用袭击的方式将我踢出系统，想捉弄德丽莎，致使系统故障，不得不删除男性账号，以及不久前你在欧夏制造的恐怖事件。
都是误会嘛，如果不是小 V 辛苦付出，你们只能困在他的……看起来已经没问题了。
Okay, there we go. That's all.
起来活动
It's
一
just
下
our
到处走
that's
走吧
our
就算是电子
preview
生命
of the
也需要
story
有
to
放
come.
松的时刻，是不是？
Shibushi? Okay, now we can change our name. Wait, can I not change my name now? I should be able to on the terminal. Maybe I gotta talk to everybody first. Or actually no, I can exit. If I return, it'll bring up the menu version of the bridge. There we go. I need a name.
也是知觉的一部分。
You can't have the name be Dreamseeker. The name is too long. Is this a new account? Yes, it is a new account. So the name right now is automatically Dreamseeker. But I'm wondering if it will change to Entropy once we go back to chapter 1. I need a name. Took me, what, like two hours, hour and a half to get here.
逛逛街吧。对于外面的世界来说，世界炮。
Your mom? I might do it. Don't make me do it.
轻拂的风
Amelia?
是知觉的一部分。
I'm gonna call her Watson. How's Watson? Don't make them say your mom in emotional cutscenes. Watson, like Fuhua, you know? Fuhua's Watson. What do you guys think? Tina, you gonna vote? I get my cough drops now on, like, when they're thinking about it. I have 4. That should be able to get us through this session. Now I'm cool with it. All right, Watson it is. All right, that's our name, Watson. Gonna do some investigating. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're investigating the timeline. We'll change the account name as well. I called it Cookie, but we'll go with Watson. Nice to meet you. I'm gonna hydrate myself, and then we'll go into it. Oh, oops. I needed to remove the voice acting. Well, I can't exit, I think, until after we leave the cafe.
Meow.
Meow meow. They play as a dude. Excuse me.
不好意思，我们
But
已
it's
经到打烊
closing
的时间了
time.。
已经这会儿了吗？
Is it that late already?
抱歉，抱歉，
Sorry.
没事。
No worries.
欢迎您
You're
下
always
次再来。
welcome back. You know, I wish we could use this bag all the time. Look, the tablet's so cool. They made like a bag model. They have animation here. Leave. Okay, we can't leave. I'm gonna turn off voice acting. Characters. I think that's the one. This is cool, actually. I don't think you... Can you normally, like, log out inside of the bookshop? Look at this. I like this background. Bro, when are they just gonna make that bag? Who's gonna want it? And of course, thought experiment on endless history. This is important. I've gone over this many times, right? Should I read it? Okay, I'll read it. This one's important anyway. Yo Yoon, who is still like an enigmatic character that we don't know. I think it's crazy. We're already in chapter 6 and there's this character who's been part of it since the beginning that we haven't heard from. Like, what's up with that? Have you ever entertained the notion of such a possibility that your life in the boundless expanse of the universe is in fact repeated countless times and will continue to do so indefinitely? Some may counter, the universe is a clear beginning in size. It's not truly infinite. In the realm of physics, this is indeed the case. But within the realm of imagination, there exist more intriguing scenarios. Now, imagine yourself living in an online game. As a character in the game, how does your existence manifest? Are you the same you, tirelessly repeating the same words to countless players? Or are there myriad parallel yous, each corresponding to every individual player? Or perhaps somewhere in between. And this is bolded. Yeah, foreshadowed from the start. This is crazy. Somewhere in between. You consistently believe you live in a unique world, leading a singular life. Yet in truth, this world and you have already repeated and will continue to repeat countless times. It was right there from the beginning. I remember when I first played this, I was like, what is going on? What is this about? Even within this overarching eternity, countless cycles can be delineated, each containing the outcomes of all free will, with specific choices repeating endlessly. In this context, you possess a state comprised of eternal cycles, infinitely bound across dimensions of time and space. In another perspective, as a character in the game, each interaction with a player initiates the flow of time for you, prompting choices in your life. For your consciousness, each choice appears unique. Yet the weight carried by these choices may not be singular, but rather infinite. Of course, you know, reality isn't a network game. Thought experiments remain just that, thought experiments. However, from a statistical standpoint, within the sea of quanta, the sea of data in a broader sense, the likelihood of a bubble universe spontaneously arising is far greater than that of a bubble universe derived from a civilized world. On a more concrete level, in everyday life, encountering humans born from the sea of data is likely a common occurrence. Perhaps as a reader yourself, a reader of this text, you yourself belong to this category. So when you apply this logic behind such common occurrence to the thought experiment just presented, can you still argue it's merely a thought experiment devoid of any semblance of reality? And then, right here, your life in the boundless expanse of the universe has, in fact, repeated countless times and will continue to do so indefinitely. Very strange. Very strange. Very strange. Oh, normally we're not supposed to have music here. It's supposed to be quiet. Do we talk to the houseman, or do we skip him? Last time when I did this, I skipped him. In the veins of the uprooted tree lies the eternal fate bestowed upon us by the heavens in this new abode. The uprooted tree. These are the words spoken by our ancestors during the founding of Langzhou millennia ago, as recorded in the ancient chronicles. A century ago, the Venerable Seven Shoes left us with invaluable teachings throughout the same proclamation. Just as withered trees may come back to life in spring, so does a ravaged world. Anchor of the apocalypse, we christened our most precious legacy this ominous name to commemorate the world's past. The cataclysmic tide once cast us into the abyss of quantum uncertainty. Yet in a corner of the sea of data, buoyed by the sacrifices of the Seven Shoes and the benefaction of the cosmos, we not only persevered but flourished, birthing a new civilization within the domain known as a bubble universe. Today we erect a monument around this cherished legacy. It shall endure not merely as a landmark of Oxia, but as a beacon inspiring all citizens to forge ahead into the future. May the spirit of the Seven Shoes remain immortal, and may the flame of civilization never be extinguished. In the veins of the uprooted tree lies the eternal fate bestowed upon us by the heavens in this new abode. It's funny to me because, like, they didn't really talk so much about... I mean, like, they have these mentions of gods and stuff, but gods and the heavens weren't, like, as much a part of the first arc as later on. I'm gonna say Houseman is not that important, because he's just explaining to us that, a house is available, you know? We're gonna skip Houseman. Can we join here? No. So I think, of course, it's significant that the SAO login screen shows up right at this very moment, because I'm like, that means that something has happened right now. Is all that just a figment of my imagination? The day before yesterday, I did stay up all night to finish a major assignment. So tired. I should hurry home and get some sleep. Did the loop start here? This is kind of what I'm thinking. Or wait a second, that might be the moment that Senadina logged in. Now I'm thinking about it. Because we know that this is the only loop that Senadina appeared, right? And then this is a dream on Hyperion 11's bridge, as we know. Or the porthole of Hyperion 11's bridge. I always thought that this console here looked a lot like the Divine Key stuff. Now what triggered her login? Well, I think, of course, it's that Kiana was there. Under the starry sky, the world has long been dead, and civilization reduced to nothing but a mere illusion. Despite all of that, you still wish to seek your own future, do you not? This is merely a dream, but with it you can see the end of time. This planet. That's Luoxing, a planet-sized tomb for civilizations. But what then? Why did the sky and the ocean? Is that because of the Great Eruption? Yes, I know that for you the existence of the sky and the ocean is common sense. However, from the perspective of the universe, this world, which is now called Mars by outsiders, has had its final civilization drifting in the Sea of Quanta for far too long. From Lunae to Elysium, from Phoenix to Arcadia, I think that's how she says it. I'm gonna say Arcadia. The once vibrant Olympus is now cold and desolate, and those fantastic auroras have long since vanished without a trace. All civilizations and all forms of life disappeared from the universe eons ago, leaving only specks of light scattered between dimensions. Of course, for your people, this is all fairly recent history, merely 100 years ago or so. Time always bifurcates and leads to countless futures. And, after a long distortion, you finally appeared in this dream, and therefore awoke me. So, the dream that was being sought, this is the dream, I think. What exactly is this? Within the depths of this dream, we will form a covenant to save civilizations. And of course, I mentioned before how this is like, whatever, come, I stand before you. Is this the same door as all of these other doors? So these are doors to dreams. And then this one is like shattered, right? Compared to the other ones. I think it's significant maybe that there's like a lot of these doorways that are shattered. They're like doorways to dreamscapes, like in Finality. Oh, you can only enter through this way. Now, I think it's significant that Vita described this place as the gateway between reality and the simulation. Does Senadina turn to face you? Or is she always standing with her back turned? Hello there. You are the one who dreamt of me. Our times are not synchronized. However, in any case, I have been waiting for you. What does she mean by this? Waiting for me? Why? Who are you exactly? What is happening? If it is indeed correct that all truths need to be conveyed through rituals and covenants, then would you like to dance with me? Has to be a past, present, future thing? Yeah, but I mean, of course, like there's something about time as an element to all of this that makes it peculiar. Refuse. Huh? Or, huh? You would really refuse at a time like this? Wait, I get it. There must be a problem with the translation system, so you didn't fully understand. Let's try this again. Would you like to dance with me? Do you derive some kind of perverse pleasure from teasing me? Is this what's happening here? I know that we're really flying by the seat of our pants here. I'll try to my best to explain later, but for now, just loosen up, okay? That's the spirit. And peek? You know, people are like, well, we don't get animations anymore. I'm like, what would you call this? It just doesn't have a vocal track. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but in this song, there's like two instruments here, the piano and then the violin, and then the violin and the piano in a duet. And maybe I'm reading too much into this one, but other instruments start to come in as soon as Senadina begins transcribing the story of Lo Xing. I think I've talked also before about the Dictionary of Khazars and how Princess Ate was associated with letters that can kill and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll get back into that another time. There's the astral rings, the 12 astral rings, the 12 houses. There's a symbol there. I should point them out. I pointed out before, but we'll just continue. Symbol is here on the tree. Remember when we thought that the tree was going to be the next region we were going to go to? There's a symbol here. When are we going to see any of this? This is always my thought. It's this is very cool, but we are now almost a year into this game and we haven't left the Longzhou region. We'll get there eventually, I hope so. There's something here. All this stuff, that's so cool. And then the symbol is under her while she's dancing here. There's a symbol here, I think. This symbol is on the rock here. I missed it where it was there. Here it's underneath this rock, and that's the last of the 12. I think it's significant that it seemed like there was an eye on that moon. Can you hear it? The sea is singing with a voice of fire. Maybe this is the final Langzhou arc before the system allows us a new place. We'll see. I, representing the Paris civilization, hereby form a covenant with you. The future of Luoxing will be inexorably linked to you, transcending time and space and creating infinite possibilities. And with that, the work is mostly done. So, what exactly is this covenant? It has to do with saving the world, of course. Crossing our proper times, your dream has entered mine. Before you, no one had ever reached this place. And after you, no one shall ever meet me again. You hail from the final reverberation of the world, from the other shore where time is frozen. You are the one I am destined to encounter, the lone echo of this planet. I just suddenly had a thought, like, what if Kiana is journeying with Dreamseeker the whole time? Because she says, like, no one has ever met me before, and no one ever will again. But we know that Kiana saw her. So Kiana is, like, with the Dreamseeker the whole time. You are a resident of the Bubble Universe. Your only home surrounded by a corner of the Sea of Data, Quanta, known as the ever-changing Sea of Data. Everything so familiar to you can only exist as a glimmer of this planet. But do not fret. I will entrust everything to you. Dreams, the future, and hope. At the end of this covenant, you will, in time, save the world. And in doing so, you will also save everyone's souls. But I don't even know your name yet. Senadia. My name is Senadia. Well, Senadina, but she says it's Senadia. It means the glow of faith. My authority, as well as my destiny, lies at the end of the world, where it will shepherd that soul light, which is you. And I think we talked about before that these astral rings have, like, names. I'm actually looking at them now and trying to see, like, they have differences in their models. So I'm assuming that this one is Corley's, the Rite of Oblivion one. This is Sena's, of course, is the anchor. And I wonder if this one is Helia's. Helia's and Corley's are very similar, but there's some things in the construction that are a little bit different. Well, actually, I wonder if Helia's is the one. So on this piece, it's got, like, indents on the corners. That's what's different about it. I don't think DS is Kiana or her avatar. No, I don't think she is Kiana, but I think Kiana is with her in the same way that, like, Fuhua was with Kiana during, like, the middle chapters, you know? Like, her presence is, like, there with her. After all, we saw the Memo Keeper from the garden and Recollection talk to Kiana in her own dread. So it's clear they are separate, but I do agree that Kiana might be alongside the journey. After all, the cocoon asked for a fellow cocoon's help. Yeah. And, like, Kiana's power is the thing that got, like, time flowing again in this world. Like, I do think Dreamseeker is still a separate entity, but I think Kiana has been here the whole time. This is our token, the final blessing bestowed upon humanity by the world. They are called the Astral Rings. They are the embodiment of the starry sky, the swan song of both heaven and earth. May the most suitable person use them. I believe that, despite being born from the final reverberation, you will be able to save yourselves and the civilization. See, okay, I don't think, and sorry if you're coming in here like totally unspoiled, I am going to be talking about some chapter 6 spoilers now, but I'm assuming most of my chat, which is not very many people, know already. We're here for my chapter 6 stream. But see, Corley has an astral ring. That's, I think, incredibly significant. I don't think Corley can die for the very plain reason of she has one of these, you know? Now it is time to set off. You will traverse your own dreams and meet companions from another planet. But before that, can you tell me your name, Dreamseeker? See? It's got my name here, but we gotta change it again. Okay, so we were able to change it. We'll change it back another time. But I do think it's funny that it actually had your name in there. Entropy. Okay, I will remember. As the armament of the Covenant, I will wait for you on the other side of the stars. I believe in you. Yeah, I think the difference in the timeline, of course, is not just that Senadina was there, but that Senadina gave them the astral rings, right? It is said that teenagers are most this is Aichan. It is said that teenagers are most prone to falling in their dreams. In fact, this is a sign of their bodies growing. The height of their despair, they will be surprised to feel the softness of their beds, while they will sigh in relief upon realizing the once terrifying experience is nothing but a harmless illusion. Afterward, they will marvel at the absurdity of dreams, and rediscover that their lives still hold infinite possibilities. For example, a star whisperer born from a dream? Oh my. Don't go snooping around other people's screens with your eyes of Bodhi. Besides, this is most certainly beyond its expectations. Whether it is a false god or time, their powers are not easily controlled, just like this desert, known to the Earthlings as a Chrysi Ponitia, which must have been an enrapturing bay a billion years prior. Back then, Vita says, back then, even I hadn't been born yet. But if this covenant is faulty since the first step, it could be quite interesting, don't you think? What are you thinking, my oh-so-restless guest? Young people have endless potential. I just said it earlier, did I not? So things are actually quite the opposite. Perhaps only such mind-boggling variables can the covenant achieve its true value. Within a little boat constructed of a pseudo-time crystal, two strangers who met by chance both observed a ripple in the sea of quanta. However, before they truly impact the story, let us go back to where the dream began and quietly join a fantastical journey for the young. Anyway, something good is happening right now. She's waking up. Will Aichan join the plot? Phew. Guess we didn't have to worry too much. It's always good to have one less person slowing us down. Huh? Senadina. Huh? Do you know me? I'm not sure, but we probably just met in a dream? What kind of corny pickup line is that? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. Please, don't take it seriously. Are you not Senadina? My name is indeed Senadina. Also Guy by Senna. But I really don't recognize you. And I'm curious. Why were we locked up face to face earlier? Well, when I phrase it that way, you're bound to be confused. Here, look. Those two accidentally broke our seal, so now we're a team. All I can say is, things happen. Coralie, you don't need to be so wary. My name is Helia, Erdish Helia. Family name first, given name second. This here is my partner, Coralie 6626 Planck. We are Shiksa... Baka. What's the point in rattling off information they can't comprehend? The long and short of it is that we are aliens. We found ourselves lost in this quantum space, and by sheer coincidence, we rescued you both from that cube. Before we get our hopes up, let me ask... Wait a second. Did you just say you're aliens? Is there a problem? Someone entrusted me with something in a dream to give you. What's this? I remember now. They're the astral rings, yes. Huh? Why do you... Is that not what they're called? That's not what I meant. Didn't you just say you didn't know me? What do you mean? I really don't know you. In fact, I don't have any memories at all before meeting you guys. It's as if my life started at this very moment. Yet, somehow you know my name. Do you find that strange? Look at Senna's face here. Entropy shared the previous dream of the three. That's rather bizarre indeed. However, the way you talk about Senadina and astral rings doesn't seem like lying. True. Additional observational data from the automatic triangle translation system supports your story. Entropy has no reason to deceive us. Besides, the astral rings correspond to the constellations up above. Out of curiosity, the redheaded girl reached out for one of the astral rings. However, the instant her finger touched the oneric treasure... Huh? Blast! Is that a Martian honkai beast? Entropy, take cover behind me. It is weird that they don't have voice acting in combat. Pew, 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 pew. Dealing damage increases ring intensity. Let's go. Makasete, Aibo! I think that's what she says. Let's go, partner. Jeez, you gave me quite a scare. Fortunately for us, these monsters aren't much of a threat. You sure you didn't summon them? Huh? So, I'm kind of a jinx? That's a bit disheartening. You really need to learn how to take a joke. Anyway, back to the astral rings. The astral rings power tailors itself to each individual. Give yourself a little more credit, too. You're the supporting astral op, after all. You also played a crucial role. If that's the case, things just became even more suspicious. You said someone entrusted you with these astral rings in a dream to give to us. Am I to take that literally? I don't understand it either. Not long ago, I went to bed as usual and dreamt of a dead planet, and the series of events that followed. I'm also hoping to make sense of why I woke up in this unexplored sea of data. Sea of data? Is that the specific name for this quantum space? Yeah. What's up? Nothing, but about that dead planet you mentioned. Just to be sure, could you sketch it out? We have paper and pen. Sure, but my drawing skills might not be quite up to snuff. This is more or less what it looks like. Wow, that's an impressive amount of detail. You can draw. It looks a whole lot like Mars to me. Yes, the knowledge you possess is definitely not the result of a random fluctuation in the Sea of Quanta. It should be impossible for you to learn the true appearance of this planet. If the bubble universe you're in is as desolate as it seems, then you shouldn't have been able to survive. What I think Coralie is trying to say is that through this drawing and the astral rings, you've gained her trust. Sorry, I interrupted Helia's self-introduction earlier. We come from the 3rd planet in the solar system, just like how you hail from the 4th. I suppose each of us could consider the other to be an extraterrestrial. The 3rd planet, the blue planet, and the giant grayish satellite. So there is a civilization on that blue planet. Why are you so shocked? Then again, I suppose I can understand. We're in this together, so don't be so hard on me. However, speaking of this is a part of our travel log. It might help you more thoroughly understand our origins. We're not going to read this, but basically that they have been exploring since September 22nd, 2023, which is when Part 2 was announced, that they went to the location where the first, not a rover, the first, like, probe to Mars landed. In actual history, that's what this coordinate is. And that they fell in a pit. Although, you know what? Maybe we should do some reading here. I wonder if this is any information here is important. There's a piece of unknown metal in the ruins. Preliminary tests confirm traces of energy. Today marks the 15th day of investigating the ruins. What we've investigated from it is nothing but sand. Spending a new year on Mars is possible. We're investigating the sand pit. The sand pit is ancient and it's over 1 billion years old. There's an ancient cement floor of the sand pit. Also a door leading to an underground space. We paused the progress of other work. We utilized all the drones to pry open the door leading to the underground world of the sand pit within 2 days. Dr. Tesla was very dissatisfied with this act, and Nagamitsu helped us. Einstein, on the other hand, was concerned that the nature of the space might be like the eye of the deep. It belongs to a space... it's more appropriate to say it belongs to a space permeated by the sea of quanta rather than a relic left by an unknown civilization. Considering the difficulties in this regard, we decided to use a genius to bridge the spaces of explorers and stayers from an additional dimension, serving as a safety net. Nagamitsu called it entanglement. Tomorrow we will decide on personnel to delve into the underground space. Helia is the one who descends, and not Coralie, because she lost in rock paper scissors. Oh no, she won rock paper scissors. It's hard to describe the spatial structure here, even compared to the Eye of the Deep. There are significant differences between them. Perhaps it's the different influences of the Sea of Quanta on Earth and Mars that give this distinction. We need a specific term to refer to the quantum space. And then in the last one, I got trapped in the hidden quantum potential well and I couldn't escape. So I initiated Valkyrie entanglement with Coralie in an attempt to ascend. But instead, Coralie got pulled into the quantum well by me. The reason might be our underestimation of the energy barrier of the quantum potential well. According to Coralie's qualitative calculations, only Herrscher could do this. However, there is some good news from now. It is not active, imaginary singularity, and the flow of time, energy, and Sea of Quanta differs significantly from the proper world. In any case, our current objectives ought to be similar. Although there are many mysteries around us, I would not advise staying here for too long. Hey, stop right there! Did anyone notice? It must have been that dog's howling that attracted those monsters. Did you see it? Not exactly, but don't worry. I have no doubt that what I assert to be the case to be true. I want this. Corey's like, are you sure? Are you sure about that? Don't even think about running. Oh, that was fast. I wonder if they ever give a horizontal attacks tutorial. There was one in the beta. Fortunately, they weren't too strong. Too bad we'd let that dog get away. What's the deal with that mutt anyway? I'm more curious about how you knew it was an enemy from the get-go. Thanks to my sense of smell. Or a sixth sense. Something like that. Anyway, my senses have never betrayed me. But now that we've lost track of it, we should decide which direction to take. That way, we won't be attrited by unknown enemies from staying in one place. A funny way back to your base? No one knows for sure. But in the end, you can only accept the answer given by me, Lady Corley, the Almighty Dark Lord. Oh, so there's already an answer. Yeesh, I guess the sense of humor is one thing you all don't possess. Fine, we'll keep it strictly fact-based. Skipping past the specific method, the only valid information we can measure at the moment is the quantum potential well, energy gradient of the space that's trapping us right now. Well, you can imagine this natural trap as a cave. The stream in the cave follows along the terrain. If we were fish in the water, as long as we kept moving with the flow, we would find a way out of the cave. Otherwise, the cave would have been completely submerged in water. In other words, as long as we're not moving at the bottom of an infinite pit, we'll eventually find an exit from this space by moving along the energy gradient of the quantum potential well. It's like running your fingers across the walls of a flat maze. By then, we might have a way to return to the surface of Mars in the proper world, or enter some unknown bubble universe, like Entropy's homeland. In short, the outcome isn't certain, but the process is. Things related to quantum anything are always like that. Yeah, where there's a will, there's a way. Oh, well, that's not wrong. You better not assume things are actually going to be as simple as my summary made them out to be. I had to explain it generally and metaphorically because getting into the nitty-gritty would be too time-consuming. That's okay. Even if you skip all the steps and leap straight to the answer, we'd still trust you as our companion, right? Yes. Alright. Entropy, do you have anything to add? You referred to this space as the Sea of Data instead of the Sea of Quanta as they do. Well, I've never encountered a generalized Sea of Quanta before. If I were to explain it based on the knowledge I learned from textbooks, our planet was eroded by the Great Eruption 100 years ago. Thanks to some kind of divine miracle, my homeland managed to survive and currently exists within the confines of the Sea of Data. The quantization caused by the Great Eruption. Like those bubble universes created when the Earth's cocoon of finality destroyed the world? Entropy, look at your communicator. Boop, boop. Moshi Moshi, hello, can you hear me? Strangely, I'm disconnected. Who could it have been? If it's an enemy, surely they wouldn't beat about around the bush like this. Maybe the unique nature of this space prevents stable communication with the outside world. It would appear all we can do is move on and wait for further contact from them. If only it were someone you knew. As for now, we'll have to wait a little longer. Perhaps Corley, the Almighty Dark Lord, can help us in this matter. Stop dilly-dallying, then. The energy gradient heads in this direction. Let's get ready. I've already been streaming for an hour? Was that a drone back there? It's a personal portable warning device called the Cambrian 534. Besides its warning function, it can also act as a signal relay. Otherwise, you have to put your pride aside and hoist the communicator over your head to amp the signal. I'm kind of messing up this rotation. I'm like kind of no-braining right now. I love the design of this, like, tower in the middle. Sacred portal. How come I don't have a button for this? Okay, now it showed up. Very strange. And then destructible environments that they barely use. Seriously? That trick again? Too bad. It got away again. This little thing has caused trouble for us time and time again. Next time I see it, I won't let it escape. From its perspective, maybe we're the ones causing trouble. I don't care. It started this. That's true, but our primary objective is still to escape this place, right? Of course. No, we're not escaping. We're breaking through. Huh? Huh? Oh, that. How come it's us? So this unidentified substance is also part of the quantum potential well? Yes, based on the data we've measured so far, it's like a rubber plug of a bathtub trapping us in this quantum space. In other words, we've got to find a way to pull it out. Like draining a tub. That could be a risky move. If we continue with the tub analogy, we could end up like two rubber ducks struggling in a whirlpool. But we can't rely on the drone left in the base to dig us out of here either. Of course not. But looking at it from another perspective, at least people with quantum adaptability won't starve in the Sea of Quanta. We have plenty of time to think out our next course of action. It's scorching hot. Hot? Hold on, the instrument readings. What did you do to it? I didn't do anything. What on earth is this? I don't know what this image is, but it recorded what happened when we found you. The cube heated up first, then emitted a dazzling light, and after that, the two of you appeared, each occupying one half of the cube, curled up inside like fetuses. So that's what it looks like from the outside. Too bad we weren't prepared, otherwise we could have captured it on camera. That's beside the point. Something that happened not too long ago is being replayed by the Sea of Quanta right before our eyes. There's no way this is all one big coincidence. Could this also be a part of the spatial anomaly? Obviously, and it's also connected to the two of you. One popped out from a stone, the other fell out from a dream. Based on that alone, I really don't know which one of you I should be more wary of. It's not really all that strange to pop out from stone. After all, this is the Sea of Data. Since she claims she's not the Senadina I saw in my dreams and doesn't have any memories before meeting us, couldn't one interpret that as the very definition of popping out from a stone? Someone manifesting out of the Sea of Data without rhyme or reason may not be common, but it's not unheard of either. You're Not being serious, are you? How should I put it? Am I not an example myself? Or rather, people like me or her, who were originally born from the Sea of Data, are quite common in my homeland. Apart from knowing a few tidbits of common knowledge from the moment we open our eyes, we are not that different from ordinary folks. I mean, like me being able to communicate with you via speech from the very beginning. Exactly. Aliens might have their own automatic translation devices, but we don't have that kind of superpower. When you say it that way, the fact that I know my name is Senadina is already strange enough. But if we let our imagination run a little wild, maybe those holo projections appeared because of entropy. Just like she said she saw me in her dreams. Could it be that you have some kind of special ability related to the Sea of Data that allows you to somehow glimpse into the past and future? Even if that's true, it's okay. As long as we keep trying, we'll find out soon enough. Isn't that right, Corley? If you're referring to identifying the relationship between energy gradients and supernatural phenomena, then yes, that's true. However, I don't believe that this so-called glimpse can help us in any substantial way. I'm more concerned about when entropy's communicator will get us back to normal. Well, it seems like Corley also acknowledges the role of entropy, so without further ado, let's set off. Don't get me wrong, I still don't really believe in entropy's power. It's just, I'm simply acknowledging the role of that communicator. Don't say that. How does that saying go again? A good beginning is half the battle. Senna is really good at motivating others. It's that holo projection again. What are you? Are you still fixating on attempting to understand me? This is pointless. You're just a dog after all. Cities like this are everywhere. People outside want to come in, and people inside want to go out. Life itself is no exception. The dark night holds nothing, but why does it grant me solace? The wind of oblivion will eventually blow over everything, leaving only a boundless sky in its wake. Some create meaning within this, while others dissolve it. As for me, I merely seek balance. If all the stars plummet, I will learn to observe an empty sky and feel the solemnity of its crushing darkness. Who is this person, and why is he carrying that dog? How should I know? Wait, over there, it's... How's it going? Can you make contact? Chen Shui. Huh? You know her? She is... Still no luck. Perhaps we try other frequency bands. No, based on the results of the on-site investigation, when she appeared, she only had the portable version of the communicator with her. Trying other frequency bands wouldn't help. From the last heartbeat signal from the communicator, we can infer that... We can infer that she could have only gone to the Sea of Data. But given this trend, if it's the depths of the Sea of Data, finding her will be like finding a needle in a haystack. What's this peak? Peak! At 10:17:48, the system briefly connected through a communicator. Disappeared. Someone you know? It appears that she's looking for you. Her name is Chen Shui, my senior. We both studied the Sea of Data under the same teacher, though I'm still a newbie. Forget about that for now. What time is it on your communicator? 10:29 a.m. What do you ask? Ah! The recent communication record just said 10:17. Congratulations, you've caught up with the live stream in the Sea of Quanta. And if you're lucky enough... never mind, let's focus on the first step for now. The worst thing you can do is build up excessively high expectations. See, I knew things wouldn't go so smoothly. Oh, now we can really hear the enemy. Yes! I'm making dog noise. You go, You're not getting out of this one. Huh? Watch it, you blockhead. Nice. Part 1 done. Just kidding, there's still so much to go through. There was once a saying, in the vast expanse of the universe, the wheel of destiny ceaselessly turns, ensnaring all existence within its grasp. Yet the truth diverges. The wheel of destiny, grand and pure, remains untainted by mortal affairs. In reality, all things exist only within the penumbra which it casts. Under most circumstances, these shadows suffice, unambiguous to the last detail. Or they have to. Unless, of course, some extraneous element forces its way in, giving the shadow of that great wheel, the greatness that slaughters all, a chance to, I think it's like break in or something like that. I've translated this a couple times. Just like this very moment. Of course, that's like, related to all the themes of this arc that's gonna go on. Isn't that... Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. We're sinking to the sea. The whole world is sinking. I saw it with my own eyes. Even if it's them, they couldn't. Sorry, but I can't say anything right now. Just keep your fear alive. Only then can the shadow let you survive here, even if only temporarily. This place seems to abound with mysteries. Are Senna and the others still nearby? And that was Scudder, of course. Lost contact with my previous companions. I'm no fighter, so whatever I do, I cannot let the monsters here detect me. Oh dear, it looks like trouble has found you.
该怎么说呢？这算是时来运转，还是在劫难逃？
What do you think, friend? Despite the meticulously polished appearance, this strange phantom had an air of opulence about it. Right now, everything was gloomy, dilapidated, and lifeless. Except for the lurking monsters, it was hard to find any other signs of life. However, when the girl was there, she felt like she was in a busy street on a summer night, waiting for a friend who was running late. Oh no, you're not scared silly like the others, are you? What do you want? Do you even need to ask? Obviously, I can be hitting on you. Playing the hero and rescuing the damsel in distress, eh? That could work too, but I could tell even at a glance that you, like me, aren't that shallow. Actually, I want to talk to you about some serious matters. Do you believe in fate, my friend? The kind that exists from the moment you're born, determines all factors of your life or your life, and won't change a bit even after your death. Tell me, do you believe in it? How should I explain it? Some people think I'm a fraud, but that's only because they themselves are frauds. Some people think I'm crazy because they're the crazy ones. But if I were to put it in my own words, I would say I'm a businesswoman. I have no idea who you are or what you want. But if you really have nothing else to do... Oh, please, do you feel that what I'm discussing right now is frivolous? Look behind you. Look. Right in front of your eyes. This is what I call fate. You probably have no idea why you ended up here, and yet, you're destined to die here. This disaster in front of you is called the Great Eruption. Considering the skills she possessed, it was clear that silence was not the answer she was looking for. What is it with today? Why do I keep encountering people who treat their own lives so flippantly? A great opportunity has presented itself right in front of you. Opportunity? Sure, your luck isn't that great at the moment. However, you just so happen to come across someone who makes a living by peering into the secrets of the heavens, and occasionally tweaking them a bit. Okay, I'm gonna make a observation here. So I think what we're seeing here is Songchue from another loop. She still has perception in this loop, as you can see with the gadget, because Songchue's like, oh, I was a little bit more awesome in the past, but from what we know, she actually never had powers in the first place. So this is just witnessing from a different timeline where the Dream Seeker had met Songchue already. You just so happen to come across someone who makes a living by peering into the secrets of the heavens, and occasionally tweaking them a bit. So, are you interested in letting me alter your destiny? What is she talking about? These monsters. Are they afraid? It seems that you're more of the no-nonsense type, someone with a distaste for formalities. In that case, let me get straight to it and show you some samples. Esteemed guest, though I don't know your exact preferences.
不过我嘛，倒是一直很喜欢有烟火气的地方呢。
She said her line there. I always like places with a bit of hustle and bustle. The morning clouds did not return to the mountains, leading to days of torrential rain that flooded the lands. The fox's white fur is enough to ward off the cold, but what of those without clothes? How would they endure the harsh winter? Who said that? Narrator? Or no, Songchue said this. This looks exactly like what that person held earlier. Did I just have another dream? Or is this a dream within a dream? Or perhaps... I've obtained something quite remarkable. Check out the gadget. It's so frustrating. Why is this place crawling with monsters without a single soul in sight? That voice. Senna.
也只能碰碰运气了。哼，星之环，对吧？既然你是另一个我送来的东西，那就好人当到底，随便哪个协同者，送一个到我前面来吧。
Anyone, but you only have one astral op right now. Entropy, you really came. The astral rings can serve this function as well? Of course not, it's merely a coincidence. Ugh, you're so terribly unromantic. I suddenly, like, I don't know, I don't think this is necessarily connected, but I'm just thinking about how May called the authority of origin also the authority of romance. Phew, finally all cleaned up. Entropy, are you alright? Yeah, I'm all good. Things did get a little hairy back there, but I got lucky and was saved by a total stranger. A total stranger? Yeah, like these monsters, she was adept at moving in the shadows. She saved my life and then vanished into thin air. Sounds more like my kind. Speaking of which, you haven't come across Corley and the others. Helia, since you fell into this place, have you? No, I haven't. Me neither. I have been ventured out of the monster heap this entire time I'm here. It's a good thing you came here and spread some good luck around. Seems that when we passed through those black substances, we got completely scattered. Yeah, so what exactly is that? What's going on with us right now? This place looks really eerie. It's so different from what I imagined. And what have you imagined? I figured there would at least be some locals hanging around. You know, lining up to greet us, throwing a grand fanfare and sumptuous feast. And then they realize that we're actually a unique species and end up worshiping us as gods. Something. Wait, don't tell me this is your hometown. Definitely not. Thought so. Still, this place does seem oddly familiar. Feels like I'm finally seeing those houses my grandparents used to talk about with my own eyes. Houses that have already been torn down. Something like that, I suppose. After all, I wasn't born from my mother's womb. If that's the case, as long as your intuition is right. The girl suddenly stopped in her tracks and looked around, checking for any strange sounds. As long as your intuition is right, then we're safe for the time being, right? After all, this is where your grandparents used to shack up, so there shouldn't be anything too nasty in store for us. I was being metaphorical. I'm not even sure if this is another one of my dreams, an actual quantum space, or even another world. Since I'm here, it must be some kind of reality. Otherwise, you should have seen that other version of me. Come to think of it, I really want to meet her. Hopefully there will be a chance in the future. Yeah, I've got plenty of questions I'd like to ask her myself. Oh, right. What about your communicator from earlier? Still no response? Nope. I see. Looks like that's the only way, huh? Let's go find Helia and Corley ourselves. When you're in unfamiliar territory, it's always best to find your own people and stick together. Oh, right. If we ever cross paths with that mysterious person who saved you, we'll have to thank her properly. You're right. Hey, great minds think alike. There's no time to waste. I scoped it out earlier, and there's only one road nearby that leads outside. That's the move. Wow, chess? What is this, Genshin Impact? By the way, what about that dog? It brought us here and then vanished. After we arrived, it gave me a short glance and then took off. Judging from its behavior when it opened that rift, I'd say this is more coming off more like us breaking in. Was it the same just now? Yeah, with our bum luck, there's always something coming our way. How about we try running away? How about we try running away this time? Good grief, what is the deal with today? It's been a good 100 years since we last had a visit from an outsider. Let me think. Is this a change for the better? Or a deferral of doom? It's her. What? You know her? Wait, is she the one who saved you before? Yeah, these monsters are probably small potatoes for her. Turns around. This savior of yours seems to be stepping back. And getting farther away. Maybe it's a special battle tactic? Hey, stop standing there! If we don't run now, it'll be too late! Stick close to me! Stay close. Today's a special day and these creatures are more troublesome than usual. Don't let them catch up. Shouldn't you be able to wipe them all out with a flick of your wrist? That was a long time ago. Do you normally have a tendency to daydream? Well, if we limit it to today, I can't really argue with that. Hmm? Alright, we're safe here. You ran all that way without breaking a sweat? Your stamina is admirable. The roads at Langcho are getting tougher to walk. Even I have a hard time. Fortune favors me. Just let me catch my breath. Okay, you do that. But who exactly are you? It appears as if you're still clueless. Right, I didn't have time to introduce myself earlier. People call me Sangtre. I live nearby on Amber Street. Could you say something? You're starting to weird me out. Hey, don't overthink it. I wonder what happened to her today, seeing people in dreams before actually meeting them. When she saw me, she had the same reaction. Entropy recounted the past events which had transpired. The morning clouds did not return to the mountains, leading to days of torrential rain that flooded the land. The fox's white fur is enough to ward off the cold, but what of those without clothes? How would they endure the harsh winter? The world is truly marvelous. To be honest, that's a line I found in an ancient book over 100 years ago. I haven't mentioned it since I stopped interacting with outsiders. But, time is not a major issue. Compared to that, one of you, with utmost confidence, claims to have sprung out from a rock not long ago. Meanwhile, the other proclaims to have had a dream where she followed a dog from a bustling city to this backward place. I must say, you two are quite special. But it is of little importance, for we have always embraced the chaos. After all, even yesterday, we were chasing... wait a minute. This dog you mentioned, what did it look like? Did it have two tails? Now that you mention it, it did actually. Why do you ask? Well... But... no one could have touched that thing. Even Donahue wanted to, it wouldn't be possible. Donahue? It's nothing. We did lose a pet around here. But you see, whenever it manifests in front of people, it always appears unusual to them. I'm afraid it's not the same as what you've seen. That's rather suspicious. We do have some secrets around here. So, what is your plan now? Are you still going to look for your missing friends? Of course, since you're a local, maybe we can help each other out. We have someone who acquired godly powers from a dream, someone who came from nowhere but fights really well, someone with strange ears who's knowledgeable in stranger fields, and even an extraterrestrial who may seem ordinary at first glance but is surprisingly active. When you think about it, you're pretty lucky to make our acquaintance. Oh. Ensuring their safety is indeed the top priority. However, after that, if everything goes smoothly, I want to return to Oxia as soon as possible. According to the holo projection in the Sea of Data, I am considered missing over there. I'm sure everyone is worried. Helping you find your friends is doable, but helping you get back will be Sancho said, helping you find your friends is doable, but helping you get back will be a bit tricky. I don't mean to scare you, but no one has ever been able to leave this place or enter it of their own volition. Well... you've seen how strong my yearning for adventure is. How can you expect me to sit in one place for 100 years? This place is dry as dirt. You just said no one can enter? If that's true, how did we end up here? Your arrival is indeed unexpected, but if we were to explain what makes it so unexpected, it would take quite some time. In any case, the existence of this place is meant to keep certain things from getting out and to prevent some other things from getting in. I mean, those dark shadows you've been counting repeatedly, why they were shadows and what they came for? Well, that's also a long story. You'd better find a safe place before we discuss it in detail. As I'm sure you noticed along the way, this area is quite desolate. As the saying goes, where there's a will, there's a way, and spending time sharpening an axe will save time chopping wood later. Once I'm back to Amber Street, I'll make sure to inquire about the whereabouts of your friends. Amber Street? It's probably the only place around here with a pulse. It makes sense to start by asking around in crowded places. Seems we've reached an agreement. By the way, I haven't introduced myself yet, have I? I'm Senadina, but you can call me Senna. Got it. What about you, my friend? Just call me Entropy. Delighted to make your acquaintance. Oh, come off it. Why are you being so polite all of a sudden? I'm just actually looking forward to meeting more outsiders like you. She casually squatted down, staring inquisitively at a dark shadow not far away. Longcho has always been a dreadfully dull place. The only thing we have that's out of the ordinary are these inexplicable shadows. But again, if you look at it from another perspective, maybe they are actually Longcho itself. Longcho. Shadows. Does that mean... Alright, don't overthink it. If you're really curious about these shadows, I'll take you on a little detour to broaden your horizons. Despite their complicated origins, they are relatively simple in other ways. Let's get going. The girl tried to stand up, but instead swayed precariously for seconds before returning to her previous position, thoroughly frustrated. What is it? Sorry, my legs fell asleep. Can you help me up? That's strange. Am I getting old? We must try our best to age gracefully. I don't think it's quite time for all that yet. Accidents happen from time to time. Anyway, let's get going. Speaking of which, you might find it hard to believe, but before the Great Eruption, Longchu was one of the biggest cities in the world. Now, Amber Street is all that remains, and is the only place worth mentioning. Are these shadows a result of the Great Eruption? It's not quite that simple. In a way, it's actually the other way around. Look, can you see that? Its full name is 7 Posts of Transfixing Shadows, but don't get confused by all that. Basically, they're just a bunch of big old nails, and people just call them the 7 Nails for short. Nails? Are they really used for pinning shadows to the ground? You could say that. More importantly, we harness the power of the shadows to pin down the entire world. You remember the Great Eruption I mentioned earlier? That happened over 100 years ago. In simplest terms, the whole world we knew became 100 bubbles and shadows of its former self overnight. I mean, some places have more bubbles, whereas some places have more shadows. You can probably guess where I'm going with this. That's right. Since we have more shadows here than anywhere else, we have to make good use of them to protect a familiar way of life. In other words, defying fate and changing destiny. So, what's the deal with this place exactly? Huh? But didn't I already cover that? The Great Eruption was going to destroy the entire world, but the Longtree people refused to accept it, so we used the power of the shadows to defy fate. But we still don't understand what this bubble universe is all about. Wait, we are actually in a bubble universe, right? I see. Are you a student? Don't underestimate the people who live on Amber Street. Even though we've been trapped for over 100 years, we still have some memories of what the world used to be like. There used to be people called students, right? They would go to a place called school every day so that various kinds of teachers there could answer their questions. Those people were relentless in the pursuit of knowledge. Like, why a year has 18 months, why a month has 37 days, how come there's a month with 38, why clocks move clockwise instead of counterclockwise, and the list goes on. Now that you mention it, Entropy does seem to enjoy asking questions. So, Professor Sangche, can you explain to us what you really mean when you talk about defying fate and changing destiny? I already covered this. It's about resisting the Great Eruption, which is a cataclysmic event that will eliminate everything in the world. Luckily, the shadows here are particularly skilled at creating something out of nothing. No, that's not technically accurate, but you don't look like you know anything about the relationship between shadows and vessels. Well, as the saying goes, seeing is believing. Help! I don't want to die! Tangshui using her fear. Dream of loss. an anomaly where monsters emerge. Dangerous as it is, if you have what it takes to tame it, there are quite a few benefits to be had. However, taming shadows must be done step by step. Why not start with these weak ones? So, shall we give it a try? Bring along the gadget and gather your team. Now we're fully prepared to set off. Oh, I've got hiccups. What on earth is this? Dream of Loss. Not many people know that name nowadays. Or perhaps you could think of it as a shadow sensing my fear. Don't worry, the way I acted earlier won't attract too many enemies. Besides, in Langchu, everything is about an equivalent exchange. Once we eliminate these monsters, I'll make it worth your while. Well done. Here, Entropy, let me borrow this thing you found from who knows where. All the shadows in the Great Langcho, heed my command! Wow, the gadget has undergone an incredible change. That's it, the gadget Shadow Remnant. Shadow of Misfortune. Also need the gadget to use its ability. But in the weapon, you can use the power they left in Langcho. Oh, I almost forgot. We need to go back. Precious items need maintenance. By consuming their corresponding materials, Shadow of Misfortune can become much more powerful. How about it? Do you feel a little stronger? Should I say yes or no? Well, there must be some improvement. After all, everything in Langcho is closely tied to these shadows. It's a bit complicated to explain in detail, but as the saying goes, better late than never. Today happens to be the day of the Fear Gathering. Fear Gathering? Fair Catering? It's Fear Gathering, although I can understand why you misheard it. As I mentioned earlier, in Langcho, you can't beat an equivalent exchange, and the Fear Gathering is the way we do business with these shadows. This are shadows. Can shadows actually communicate like people? As I said before, seeing is believing, so stop guessing. However, you want to do as the Langchos do, then I won't hold back. As the saying goes, bigger is always better, and when it comes to friends, the more the merrier. Is that really how those sayings go? Beats me, but my master is always rattling them off regardless. Don't you come chiming in now. What I'm going to say was, it's thanks to these nails that Langcho is still intact today and hasn't been turned into an undersea ruin. So, regular maintenance is crucial. Undersea ruin? Are you referring to the Sea of Data? So you're aware of this. As the name 7 Postal Transfixing Shadows suggests, there are a total of 7 nails. For over 100 years, we've been inspecting them on a daily basis. When we find one that needs maintenance, we summon the artifacts to help. But, whether it be coincidental or otherwise, you, an outsider who only just arrived, happen to pick up something immensely valuable. It's the treasure I borrowed from you earlier. Long time no see, old friend. This time, you'll be with new companions. Is it a very valuable thing? Not really. Rather than calling it an artifact, it's more like an exoskeleton. It used to be my companion, helping us take care of the world decades ago, but that led to the depletion of its energy. So I buried it in the shadows, hoping that one day it would be resurrected and work with us again. Shouldn't we return it to you then? It was an important companion to you, wasn't it? And no, while it is important, I've witnessed hundreds of others just like it. For all these years, I've simply been using whichever one works best. It's just that I don't happen to have one with me right now. What the... I just got a really weird message. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. No, someone added me on Twitter for some tweet from like 2022. It's weird. And since fate has bestowed you with your own, then Longchu has 2 guardians now. This is a magnificent opportunity, so let's not be modest, okay? Like, I wonder what Songcho means here. Like, does this mean that she has another gadget? Hold on. All this talk just to convince us to run errands for you? You mustn't put it that way. Of course, there will be rewards for your efforts, especially in Langzhou, where we believe in equivalent exchange. Here, let me make a list of rewards for you to have a look at. List of rewards, huh? How about it? If you were to spend untold years toiling under this kind of work, it might be a bit tough, no? 6 months might do it for me. If it goes beyond a year, I'm definitely calling it quits. I've been doing this for 100 years, you know. Oh, this guy's not dead. Okay. Huh? Something's going on up ahead. I'm gonna jump. Be my guest if you want to end your life as a splatter mark. Oh, wait, this is... Hey, what are they... Entropy, can we handle this? Don't worry about them. What are you talking about? We can't just ignore this. Listen to me just this once. If we intervene, we might ruin their little deal. If we do that, we will become the ones jumping. If you still have doubts, just see for yourself. This should be enough, right? At least enough to last until the next fear gathering. See? What did I tell you? Might seem strange to outsiders, but I suppose these could be considered simple folk customs in Longzhou. What exactly is going on here? Is this some kind of idiosyncrasy you people have in these parts? Of course not. You just witness how they go about their lives. When people are struggling to make a living, they always look strange and miserable. What's so unusual about that? I imagine it's much the same in other places without shadows. Although I don't have much experience, I can feel that this is a sensitive topic. Is your hometown also like this, Entropy? Do you have to frequently do things that you don't like or are afraid of in order to make a living? Hard to say. Oxia City has a universal welfare system, but I wouldn't go so far as to say you can have whatever you want. Then again, those two from earlier... It felt like they had some kind of death wish. About that. That's my bad. I built up too much suspense. As I mentioned before, shadows are best at creating something out of nothing, and we locals often engage in equivalent exchanges with them. No kidding. Oh, does that mean you also have to create something out of nothing? Here, a quick one. If one day I can't make ends meet, I'll team up with you and we can make a street performing duo. Since this is about equivalent exchange, what exactly do you need to use to trade with them? The two people we just saw did nothing and got nothing in return. Yes, but they were afraid. What does that prove? The logic is pretty simple. What they could use to do business with the shadows was their own fear, right? Bingo. What's the principle behind this? Although the Sea of Data can somehow turn fiction into reality, it's not a wish granter. And why, of all things, do the shadows require fear? Well, I can't explain it either. We all know that fire can be used for cooking, but none of us can really explain what fire actually is. Indeed, not all flames are plasma. Seems like it's a unique rule in this world. That is well and truly unheard of. I guess my understanding of the Sea of Data is still rather limited. Though its illogical nature actually makes it easier for me to grasp. If you think about it, it's all a bit nightmarish, don't you think? To constantly live in fear in order to get by? Isn't it the same everywhere? Even in the era before the Great Eruption, before Longshou was split, it wasn't easy for people to get what they wanted. No pain, no gain, as they say. Isn't the occasional wave of fear and anxiety a decent price to pay for a better life? Having said that, I would certainly prefer getting things without having to work for them. Split. Longshou. Strange how those words always sound so familiar whenever I hear them. Where are they from? That's it. You mentioned how the last time you saw an outsider was over 100 years ago. You're not trying to say that you're hundreds of years old, are you? I'm not particularly insistent on that point. I'm fine with being 16. That's a flexible age range. No one has ever inquired as to my age. Even if I lived for 1,000 years, I'm forever 16 in my mind. Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? I thought you were used to it by now. So, does that mean I've entered a world where people have conquered death? Not exactly. Maybe you're just lucky to have met me. Don't be fooled by my lack of abilities at the moment. In this small world, I'm a rare species. Of course, one could also say I just hold more fear than they do. But, we're getting off track. Amber Street is up ahead. We mustn't linger in this wilderness for too long. So, how about it, everyone? Shall we press on? Meanwhile, in a dark room, though negligible in number, all those who had set foot in this dark space would concede it was cramped, oppressive, and exuded an ancient sort of putrefaction. But it is precisely in this kind of place that people often develop the illusion they were confronting the abyss, just as someone in a certain civilization once said. Though I am confined within a nutshell, I regard myself as the king of infinite space. The shadows cast by the Wheel of Fortune might be displaced by a light, but they would never be reduced to nothingness for no reason. It's all very cryptic, but like, kind of understand it now that this is just a container for perception, but perception doesn't necessarily have to be inside the gadget. The shadows cast by the Wheel of Fortune might be displaced by a light, but they will never be reduced to nothingness for no reason. She didn't awake from a long slumber. On the contrary, she had enjoyed eternal sobriety. Having spent an eternity in this state, what was once called reality had now become still waters for the tendrils that constitute her perception. All this time she had been sitting here, waiting to hear the sound of a certain object shattering behind repair. But at this moment, a faint glimmer unexpectedly reached the depths of that dark, deep lake that was her heart. Oh, very good. Muttering vague words of approval, the figure in the shadows remained wrapped in distant memories. I thought that what I had to do was extremely simple. Something not even worth pondering over. But perhaps in this world there is a chance. Make the real stars lower their heads and then stand shoulder to shoulder with the gods? I do think it's interesting here that what Perception wanted was to become a god that was liked, right? And we didn't really understand what it meant, what the gods meant, until we came into this Rimu arc. So, and that's still a question that we don't understand until we, probably win the Tenshu War. Or something happens with Tenshu War. I don't even know if we're going to win. However, before deciding to change her strategy, she had to find a reason or some kind to motivate herself. After a long while, I got it. See, people are like, oh, chapter 1 is so bad. And like, I get that the pacing's bad, but all the pieces are here setting up for the future. It's just too bad that you can't go back. But if you know what's going to happen, all of these pieces make sense. Welcome to Amber Street. Don't be fooled by how quiet things are right now. Back in the day, it had the reputation of a tourist attraction. Ah, I forgot to ask. Are you hungry? Did I grab you something to eat? It's been many a moon since I played the role of a host. The flavors here are authentic. Craft that's probably lost in other places. A lost craft? See that sign over there? A few master chefs were passing down their craft for generations. If it weren't for them, these dishes would have died out long ago. I guarantee you've never tasted anything like these delicacies. Before that, let's ask around about the whereabouts of Corley and Helia. You want them to have a taste too? I mean, it'd be nice to have a meal together, so you're not totally off base. Alright then, no problem, I'll go ask around. It's about the Fear Gathering? The Fear Gathering is not something you see every day. First and foremost, I need to fill those clueless folks in. While I'm at it, I can also inquire about your friends. Anyway, I can't just leave you here, not when you're so unfamiliar with the place. I guess we don't have much of a choice. Senna, what do you... Huh? Look at Senna. Alright, but once we're done, Miss Sangcha, I also want to talk to you about how to go back. If I were to stay here in perpetuity, I would distress others. I understand. But let me be clear. If I knew precisely what to do, we wouldn't be here in the first place. Of course, we're all friends here. If there's anything I can help with, I'll do my utmost. Good talk to Sana first. Speaking of finding people, wouldn't it be more efficient to split up? You're just being impulsive and chasing after whatever captures your fancy. Long time no see, Uncle. It's been a while since you last attended the Fear Gathering. It's about to start up again. Whether you'll need it or not, it's better to be prepared, wouldn't you say? True indeed. I've been fighting against this thing my whole life. If I had my druthers, I wouldn't rely on it so much. Things do seem to be going pretty well, though, don't they? You do well to learn from me. No one's a more sobering example of hitting rock bottom than I am. That's because back then you weren't truly in the thick of it. While I became utterly useless once the light was extinguished. Ah, don't say that. Come on, let's not dwell on past sorrows. Are you joining the Fear Gathering this time? Count me in. But I must tell you, there is not much fear left in my heart. Well, since your business here is still flourishing, it's always a good idea to be prepared for the future. By the way, have you seen any outsiders around here? Huh? I haven't seen any. How could there be outsiders here anyway? I don't do too much wandering these days. You're not playing some kind of trick on me, are you? Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. To be fair, I haven't figured out the specifics myself. Maybe there was a mistake. It's alright, let's go somewhere else and ask around. Is that man acquaintance of yours? There's no one in Amber Street that I don't know. I know that I refer to everyone here affectionately as aunt and uncle, but he's the only one that actually counts as my elder. You mean he's lived for as long as you have? At least 150 years. Of course, there aren't many like him. Otherwise, Manchu would be overrun with people. But he's different from us. Rumors are that he used some costly techniques to extend his lifespan. I don't know the details though. His path and mine diverge at a certain point anyway. But I digress. Since he doesn't know anything about the outsiders, let's try something else. Immortal Scudder. Songche! Master Songche! Come on. No need to be a stranger. What are you up to? It's nothing. I just wanted to ask about the fear gathering. Supplies are running a bit low at home. Well, you're in luck, my friend, since you met us today. That's great. The girl seemed hesitant to speak. What is it? Are you having other troubles? Not really, it's just... Master Songchue, can you talk with my father again? About what? Oh, is he still refusing to use items obtained from the fear gathering? Yes. If things continue like this, I'm afraid he might starve. I see. He's still living outside Amber Street on that plot of land he has? And self-sufficiency and all that. Yeah, Mom always tries to dissuade him from staying there, but... don't worry, I'll go take another look. Don't be afraid. Persuading others is my forte. But it's so strange, I mean... I'm really afraid of my father dying, but... If I knew he wouldn't die, would I not be able to attend the fear gathering? If that were the case, my father and I would both... I'm a bit confused about how I should feel. Well... The girl paused for a moment. Although the reasoning she was about to blurt out was valid, perhaps she felt it wouldn't be very comforting. It's okay. Besides, in the future, there will be plenty of other things to instill fear in you. Like a group of terrifying outsiders coming to Amber Street. Outsiders? Here? Scary, right? But everything will be fine. Sorry about that. The little lady wasn't looking too well, so I had to give her some advice. It's okay, she did seem to have a lot on her mind. But based on what you just said, the so-called fear gathering, could it be... It's doing business with shadows that consume your own fear. It's where the girl is afraid of not having anything to be afraid of. I mentioned it before, haven't I? Making a living is never an easy thing. But on the other hand, if you fear everything, you can't live your life either. When I was going through tough times before, everyone would always comfort me and tell me everything would be alright. When Emily grows up, she might comfort others in the same way. Eesh. Why do we keep prattling on about trivial matters today? Let's keep going. Standing here won't get us anywhere. So, that guy's actually open for business. Perfect, he's always well informed. I knew you'd pick the right moment. Open again? Well, it's not like I can make a living without your skills, can I? Don't have to rub it in. You always make it sound like I'm some kind of heartless middleman. I must say that you're obsessed with making a big show of things, but I must say your prices are fair. Naturally, the more opportunistic you are, the less you want to be resented. That's something I picked up from you, Master. Alright, you always knew how to flatter me. By the way, have you seen any new faces in Amber Street? You could say that they're guests of mine, but it seems they've gotten turned around. Can't say I have. But I have noticed a few new competitors. Competitors? Yeah, for the first time ever. 2 girls set up a mobile stall nearby. And just like me, their business is nurturing people's fears. How interesting. That it is. I'm guessing they must have heard about my reputation, as they've been acting quite cautious around me. I've been eager to show my support, but I've never seen them around. Alright, that's enough. Your personality has to change one bit. Sardonic and caustic in equal measure. Okay. Alright, I'll take care of this for you. Just remember, if you happen to find them before me, don't give them any trouble. And what's this? Oh, in Langzhou, apart from the basic necessities and the monsters in the wilderness, there's not all that much to worry about. When it comes to doing business with fear gathering, some are bound to not have any fear to barter with. That's why we have people like him. He'll go to great lengths to scare people, and after the fear gathering ends, he takes a cut. No wonder he claims to be opportunistic. But not entirely. He's actually more interested in figuring out the why and the how behind all this than he lets on. If you're going to stay here for a while, you might have to deal with him. But back to the topic. What do you think? Could your friends possibly be the 2 girls he mentioned? Indeed, that's possible. Well then, let's go. Judging by how everyone's been doing, the official start of the fear gathering won't be delayed much longer. I need to take care of some important business as soon as possible. I think we are at the a little over halfway point of this chapter. Maybe much more than halfway. Don't worry, you're an A-rank Valkyrie. This kind of thing is a walk in the park for you. But Corley, rather than about thinking whether we can do it, shouldn't we be thinking about if we should do it? Corley? Helia, what are you... Entropy. Hey there. We have a customer here, Helia. Hey, why are you taking this so seriously? Feast your eyes. A knife-throwing challenge free of charge. She'll stand in front of that board. You can throw the knives at however you see fit. The only requirement is you have to blindfold yourself first. Don't listen to her. I'm glad you're okay, Entropy. Have you also encountered those weird shadow beasts? I got into a scrap with them in the beginning, yes. Fortunately, I became acquainted with this young woman here, and as you can see, found Senna, so it wasn't a big deal. She's the one who brought us to Amber Street. Acquaintance. No need to be formal, just call me Sangja. You two have an air of excellence. I imagine the place where you work must be impressive. Yeah, Helia's experience as an A-rank Valkyrie is quite extensive. For whatever reason, she accentuated the A rank. Her experience as an A-rank Valkyrie is quite extensive. Carly... Never mind. Speaking of which, what about Sandina? Didn't you say you found her? Well, we did, but... The girl grunted as she squeezed through the crowd and approached a small stall. Perhaps you should consider swallowing before speaking. Unlike when they were separated earlier, the girl was now carrying an assortment of food in her arms, and she was struggling to chew with puffed cheeks. So it is really you. I just heard someone say there was a little person doing business over here, and it turns out they weren't lying. Ugh. Great. We're not friends anymore. Corley certainly has a certain unique sense of humor. Senna, where did you get all that stuff you're carrying? Other people gave them to me. I guess it's because I'm so adorable. By the way, what are you guys playing? Looks fun. Feast your eyes. Can it? No one wants to hear that a second time. Anyway, everyone is reunited and in good spirits. That's the most important thing. All's well that ends well. I hate to be the party pooper, but now's probably the time to be one. Otherwise, I'll be blamed later. It's not a big deal, though. I just need to excuse myself for a while. As I mentioned before, I also need to prepare for the fear gathering. I can't delay any longer. I apologize for not being able to entertain you properly. Please don't take offense. You don't need to be so formal. You guided us through this journey, and we haven't even thanked you properly yet. So, it's not exactly my definition of hospitality. Alright then, you guys do your thing. I'll be right back. After making a strange gesture, the girl bounded off with her usual overflowing energy. It's said that many hands make light work. Let's go take a look at the lineup. You guys got pretty chummy in no time. People are kind to those who treat them kindly. So, what's the deal with you two? You've barely been here and you're already starting a business? Now, strictly speaking, this falls under the umbrella of scientific research. After being sucked in, Corley and I quickly reunited. Our communicators work here too, so that was a pleasant surprise. After confirming that this is a bubble universe, we started searching for any signs of life nearby, trying to find you. Eventually, by sheer happenstance, we stumbled upon this place. The locals are friendly enough, and they don't seem surprised by travelers from outside the bubble universe, so Corley wants to conduct some research here. When it comes to research, even happy accidents can be part of the plan. Remember that black substance that pulled us in? Here, it operates as some form of currency. It is said that through a ritual called the Fear Gathering, a mysterious being collects people's fears. After the ritual is over, Those who protect will have everything they could ever want. Yeah, that's what we've been told. So, Coralie suggested to me getting involved in their daily lives and gathering some fears to see how it works. That's how this stall you see before you came to be. How's business? It's going. These throwing knives pose no threat to Helia. She can easily dodge them, but the residents here don't know that. Whenever they walk up to throw the knives, they start shaking like leaves and refuse to actually throw any of them. You two have a real knack for business. Not quite. The usefulness of this endeavor is somewhat limited. After all, it's not our own fears we're building up. To see real results, we have to wait for the fear gathering to begin. Have you asked about who conducts the fear gathering? Oh, we did, but haven't turned out much. Yeah, whenever we bring it up, everyone shows this weird look. To say it's irritation would be an understatement, but to say it's hatred would be the opposite. How do they describe it then? Like a wicked mountain, fat and muddy. Like a slippery fox, cunning and vicious. What's so funny? Sounds like she must have undergone quite a weight loss regimen. Have you seen her before? Of course, you've seen her too. The morning clouds did not return to the mountains, leading to days of torrential rain that flooded the land. The fox's white fur is enough to ward off the cold, but what of those without clothes? How would they endure the harsh winter? Both the mountain and the fox are there. Come on, let's go find her. I'm 5 for Earth, able to contain. Ugh, hit the weakest when at the strongest. Done. I still have many clients to visit today, so I won't stay long. Oh, but before I go, let me remind you of something. Shadows are not something you keep as assets. They might disappear of their own volition at any given minute. Even if you tend to save them and use them sparingly, it would be wiser to exchange them for something tangible first. That's how you can exchange your future. Huh? Here you are. Sorry, I was on my way to find you, but I got stopped by the neighbors. The fear gathering is dragging on a bit too long, and everyone is getting a little anxious. So you're the one in charge of the fear gathering. I never admitted it outright, but I never deliberately kept it a secret from you either. After all, there aren't many things about me worth showing off, so I wanted to wait for the right time to tell. I knew it. You may masquerade as being laid back and easygoing, but you're actually a big shot. Oh, no, please. All I was doing was adoring myself with borrowed plumage. Saying that, the girl raised a uniquely shaped object in her hand. If you want to do business with shadows, she's your only shot. She may not look the nicest, but... Hey. For no apparent reason, the girl stumbled in place, seeming unable to bear the weight of the object in her hand. Actually, this is the shell that I mentioned earlier. It's really quite remarkable. Is there any difference between this and the one I have? At first, there probably wasn't much difference, but now it's become much too dull. It tends to happen to objects if they've been left collecting dust for too long. Are you saying there's a chance that mine will revert back to its original state? Could it potentially participate in the fear gathering? Theoretically true, but there's a big difference between asleep and dead. However, if you're really interested, it might not be a bad avenue to pursue. Is the fear gathering conducted through it? That's right. If you're looking for someone who can wrangle with those shadows on this street, there isn't a single one left. Really? Not even you? Well, why dwell on past glories? This concept of collecting fear seems to be a very real thing. Coralie, could this be a mechanism of the Sea of Quanta? I'm more inclined to think they have a different definition of fear here. What's so different about it? How could it mean anything else other than the literal definition? Only if you experience genuine fear can it be extracted. As for its secrets, I can't really say. It's just following the ancestral method, I suppose. So, if we look at this from another perspective, anyone can be the executor of the fear gathering? Yes, but who would want to deal with shadows unless they had no other recourse? You've seen what it's like outside, haven't you? Even after all these years, they still consider shadows to be some sort of evil spirit. Even for me, I only make this trip once or every 2 or 3 months. The rest of the time, I mind my own business. Fortune telling, dream interpretation, palm reading, tomb geomancy. You name it, I dabble in it. Yeah, girls gotta make a living. Let me see. Religion is the humanization of natural laws, while witchcraft is the naturalization of human behavior. Ever since I've known her, she's always enjoyed rattling off these abstract statements that make you scratch your head. Well, since the fear gathering is still short on attendees, why don't you come with me and see for yourselves? If we come across someone who wants to do a cash-on-delivery deal, they won't be so cryptic to you then. They might even give us some local specialties as a bonus. Well, that depends on the individual. Hey, isn't that... What's wrong? Nothing, it's just that there's a shop near my house with a similar sign. Maybe it's a coincidence. I see. Here we are. Getting impatient, aren't you? Soon, you won't need to be afraid anymore. There doesn't seem to be anything special about it. Don't be so hasty. Everything has a beginning, middle, and end. We're only at the beginning. Seems to be going much faster than before, doesn't it? Of course. Though it may sound unreasonable, the younger you are, the fewer things you're afraid of. It's like the old saying, newborn calves do not fear tigers. And the key to the fear gathering, in fact, lies in... Yes, take it slowly. Slow. What? Whoa. You're quite talented. Would you ever consider being my apprentice in the future? Go away, Granny Sangchun. Mom told me not to talk to you. Except at times like this. I see. Fair enough. Everything has changed after all. Everyone, this is the fear gathering. Would you like to give it a spit? Could this be a manifestation of a type of source matter I haven't encountered before? What if that's the case? No, let's not make hasty judgments. What's the matter? It makes sense. No outsider's ever seen how we do business in Langzhou, so it's only normal to be surprised. What? No, I was just thinking about conjuring up something for myself. Don't you ever get surprised by anything? Of course I do, but the key is that it is so interesting. So, you're saying you can conjure anything out of shadows, Granny Sangchun? Would you quit calling me that? Not everything can be conjured from shadows. Things that you can't even imagine yourself, for example. I see. So the shops on this street are selling a technique rather than raw materials. Took you long enough to notice. You might find the odd restaurant here, but there isn't a single shop selling vegetables, flour, or rice and the like. I originally thought there was some special supply route here, but now it seems it's simply because they already have everything they need. That's right. We've been living like this for over a century. And I don't know how things are from where you're from. But in modern Langzhou, our once invaluable treasures serve little purpose than being playthings for children. The only exception if it's something that incorporates extraordinary craftsmanship and ingenuity. So, according to the economic system here, as long as people feel fear and extract it in time, they can live without too much concern? Corley, what do you think? Doesn't this fly in the face of any law we're familiar with? It's very strange indeed. Kingdom of God is also the kingdom of despair. Although it's not exactly the same, I find it a rather apt description of this place. There have been rumors of bubble universes near Earth where wishes come true. but I haven't looked into them specifically. It also probably can't be directly applied to daily life. Judging from the instrumental readings, however, these shadows could be considered a manifestation of Honkai energy. In other words, the people in this bubble universe not only live in harmony with Honkai, but have turned it into a sort of perpetual motion machine capable of transforming everything. That makes sense? Of course not, it doesn't make a lick of sense. However, looking at it from a different perspective, no matter how peculiar these things are, they can nonetheless bring an unexpected value to our Mars expedition. We take it even further, the mysterious hometown of that dream seeker we're searching for is no exception either. Ah! Entropy! Your goal is still to find a way back to your hometown, is it not? That's correct. If possible, I would like to go back for a visit, so as to assuage my friends and family who no doubt have been looking for me. In that case, it would be more efficient for us to continue traveling together. Indeed. Travel together? You guys aren't planning to stay for a while, are you? My apologies. It must be that I spent too much time running around instead of tending to you properly. Oh, no, you're misunderstood. We're quite interested in Longsho, but as outsiders, we naturally have to find a way to establish our connection with the outside world. If we can't contact our base, being able to contact Entropy's hometown could suffice as well. What do you think, Senna? As long as things are interesting, I don't mind. Having said that, it would be better if we could explore from both sides. That way, I can continue to figure out what I can conjure from shadows. Who knows, maybe I can even become a middleman and make some profit. I don't mean to dampen your spirits, but I've already mentioned before how I haven't been able to leave this place for 100 years. From my understanding, while there is indeed a pathway from the outside, it has never been opened. Or perhaps a more accurate description would be that the opportunity to open it has passed. If you want to look, I won't stop you, but I do suggest you manage your expectations accordingly. No problem. If we're lucky, we'll get through and even establish a connection with the outside world for you. Even if luck is on our side, it's still a good thing to let go of our fantasies sooner than later. So, when do we leave? Anytime works for me. It's a short journey and won't be too much trouble. But I must admit, I'm a stickler for doing things in order. There's an urgent matter I agreed to previously, so I'll have to take care of that first. At any rate, it's all on the way. How about we wait until I handle this urgent matter first and then dive into the issue of leaving Longsho? What do you think? What urgent matter? Didn't you see me agreeing to it early? You've already forgotten? In fact, I might need your help, actually. Okay, my throat's starting to get a bit sore, so we might end very, very soon. Where are you going, homegirl? Oh, we're not going that exit, we're going this exit. Yeah, my throat is hurting, and I ran out of cough drops. So I'm gonna have to stop here. But I know we're at about like the 3/4 stage of this, because I think we talked to Mangor, we do the commissions, then we walk to the anchor. They talk about it for a little while. They get zapped away, and then what happens? Aichan and Vita have one last thing that they gotta say. And then you get a glimpse forward of Litos telling Songcho to leave. And then, let's see. Then you get the cutscene of Dreamseeker and Helia and Senna and Songcho making it over to the portal on the other side. And then Chenjoa shows up and says something, and then that's the rest of it. So, that'll be for another time. My throat is hurting. It's always a lot of reading. Reading is not my forte. Seems like I lose my voice steam at about the 2.5 hour mark. So, that'll be it. let's see who we can raid. Abyss? How long have we got left? Well, I have no idea. Okay. Actually, maybe let's switch over to my main account real quick. Well, I can probably do it off stream. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys to this one, Eris Moon. Okay, well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining. And have a good night. I'll probably try to see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.